Luxor is often called the world's greatest open-air museum, but that comes nowhere near describing this extraordinary place. Nothing in the world compares to the scale and grandeur of the monuments that have survived from ancient Thebes. It was just mind-blowing what we could experience in this open-air museum. I have never come across a city like that. I don't think that you can find a city like this anywhere in the world. Whether you are admiring a burial chamber's still bright paint, sailing down the Nile in a felucca, or wandering among the columns in one of the great temples, Luxor is where ancient Egypt remains most present. The city of Luxor, an Arabic word for palaces, was once mighty Thebes, the seat of the Egyptian pharaohs, as their most powerful, and a visit here gives you a chance to appreciate the grandeur of their architecture up close. Luxor has a population of around about 230,000, most of who are employed in tourism somehow, though there are many who are employed in agriculture and commerce.
It has goddess, her name is Sisha, the goddess of architecture.
It is one of the most popular destinations in Egypt, being one of those places that you must see. Because of this, almost every tourist company has an office somewhere in the town. It has been estimated that Luxor contains about a third of the most valuable monument in the whole world, which makes it one of this planet's most important tourism sites. Everything revolves around tourism here. Taxi drivers will work with souvenir shops to lure tourists to the shop, and where shopkeepers will use wholesale techniques known by them to make a sale, and it can get really tense.
Yeah, you can put the candle inside and it will be like light.
Have three different colors: white, brown, and the third color is green. We bring the stone behind the mountain by camel or donkey.
We felt that we had to haggle for literally everything. It was at times overwhelming, and it's easy to feel taken advantage of.
Come, we'll take you small trip.
No!
Very fast, you can bring them back.
Okay, no problem. No.
Although the harassment is annoying, it's all pretty harmless. And Luxor remains an essential component of any Egyptian itinerary. There's a lot of things to do in Luxor, as the city harbors many of the country's most astonishing monuments. We spent 3 days in the city. That was just enough to immerse ourselves to some of the most impressive sites of Luxor's ancient past and dive into thousands of years of Egyptian culture. It's important to understand the layout of Luxor. The Nile River splits Luxor into two parts, the East Bank and the West Bank. The East Bank of Luxor is the location of Luxor town. This is where most Egyptians live and work, and it's also where you will find the majority of hotels and restaurants.
Yeah, okay.
There are just a few notable sites to visit on the sides of the river, but two of these, Karnak Temple and Luxor Temple, are two of the most spectacular sites to visit in Egypt. The West Bank of Luxor is where the ancient Egyptians buried the dead. Each night the sun set on the West Bank, so this became the necropolis, the area that is filled with tombs and mortuary temples, including the famous Valley of the Kings.
Perfectly, as you will see inside.
The first temple we visited is the Karnak Temple on the East Bank. Karnak Temple is the second largest temple complex in the world. For over 2,000 years, starting in 2000 BCE, temples, monuments and buildings were added to the complex. Approximately 30 pharaohs added something to the Karnak Temple complex.
Smith sandstone and red granite. Red granite bring from
The immense size of the complex, as well as its various architectural, artistic, and linguistic details, make it an invaluable historical site and resource for understanding the evolution of ancient Egypt, and thus its conservation is critical.
her head the sun disk because she local goddess. Culture she has two feathers and the head as a bird. It's okay, and each king put it in a front.
Karnak Temple is the second most visited site in Egypt, coming in right behind the Pyramid of Giza. The next step is the Luxor Museum, 6-minute drive from Karnak Temple. The Luxor Museum is one of the most important historical museums in the Arab Republic of Egypt. It is located on the Nile Corniche in the heart of Luxor city. The selection of statues and objects found in the local tombs and temples, all sorted here, are perfectly displayed against dark background to bring out the best features. Among the many highlights are a strikingly beautiful statue of an eternally young King Thutmose III. The important cache of statues, among them Ramses II and Tutankhamun, found a few years ago under Luxor Temple, are also on display here. Luxor Mummification Museum is just 10 minutes walk from Luxor Museum. The Mummification Museum is an important museum in Luxor that showcases the art of preserving the bodies of ancient Egyptians through mummification. It provides insight into the process used by ancient Egyptians to preserve human bodies and those of animals such as cats, dogs, and crocodiles. 10-minute walk from Mummification Museum, we reach our final step of the day in East Bank, the majestic Luxor Temple. Constructed over hundreds of years by Amenhotep III, Ramses II, and Tutankhamun and other pharaohs, Luxor Temple remains one of the best preserved and most important archaeological sites in Egypt, offering glimpse into the grandeur of ancient Thebes and the religious practices of ancient Egyptians. Today, Luxor Temple is a major tourist attraction, drawing visitors from all around the world. Its impressive ruins, detailed carvings, and historical significance make it a must-see site for those exploring ancient Egyptian history. We got back to the hotel to celebrate her birthday. The hotel offers free birthday cake for the occasion. Shout out to the Hotel Luxor. Today we will visit the West Bank. Our driver came to pick us up early in the morning. So just let me take a moment to talk about this driver. We found him in front of our hotel and we asked him to take us to the Karnak Temple. What he kindly did. After we reached our destination, he asked if he could come and pick us up. He didn't want to take payment then. At first, I was a bit skeptical. He was nice, and why not? And he offered to be our tour guide and the driver for all our stay in Luxor. We asked how much we should pay him. He said that he's from Luxor and the tourists are very important for his city. Tourists are family to him, and that we pay how much the service given is worth. Well, that is a great sales technique. I think that companies should send their sales employees to Egypt to learn. We shall get back to our taxi driver later on. The drive from the East Bank to the West Bank took about 40 minutes. There's an option to take the ferry. The ferry only takes 10 minutes. However, for now, we have decided to take a taxi using our lovely taxi driver and tour guide. And along the way, we could see a lot of ruins and monuments. This is really an open-air museum. Yeah. So the taxi driver brought along his new customer and asked us whether it was okay if he could also travel with us. It was a doctor from the US, originally from Egypt, a very kind person who later offered us dinner, and more details about it later. Before starting the visit of the ruins in West Bank, our driver took us to a souvenir shop. They were making souvenirs from special Luxor stones. As I mentioned before, souvenir shops are working with taxi drivers to bring them customers. And that's what he did. I don't know if it's a good thing or not. With so many fakes in the market and hustlers on the street, this makes practical sense, and we could also watch artisans crafting our purchases. We reached the Valley of Kings, our first site in the West Bank. After paying the entrance fee and being allocated a tour guide, we started the tour.
So we know this place was used for 500 years.
All right.
And after that, it became so familiar.
Valley of Kings is where the pharaohs of Egypt's New Kingdom era were laid to rest. This is the resting place of Tutankhamun, which was discovered virtually untouched in 1922, as well as the tomb of Ramses IV, Seti I, and many others.
Which is life, death, afterlife.
There are 63 tombs here to see in total, though only a maximum of 18 are visitable at any one time. Tutankhamun's tomb requires an additional ticket for entry. The tombs have suffered greatly from treasure hunters, floods, and in recent years, mass tourism. Carbon dioxide, friction, and the humidity produced by sweat left by each visitor have affected the reliefs and the stability of paintings that were made on plaster laid over limestone.
Was living here for 7 years.
Howard Carter was a British archaeologist who made one of the richest and most celebrated contributions to Egyptology, the discovery in 1922 of the largely intact tomb of King Tutankhamun. Across the mesmerizing West Bank of Luxor resides the house where he lived during the years of this mission. The house remains until today and has become a touristic site that many would like to visit. We had the privilege to visit the house. We could see its furniture, books, and some devices used in his mission. It was time for lunch. We were lucky enough that our friend the doctor from the US, originally from Egypt, who I mentioned before, offered us an Egyptian feast.
Okay. All right.
It was so delicious. We had rice stuffed pigeon, shawarma, kofta, Egyptian rice, and so on. Our friend really spoiled us.
Okay.
You can pick from every color. Keep it with you.
Some of the benefits of having a local tour guide, they can take you to some of nice hidden sites that other tourists will not know. By now, our taxi driver and tour guide became our friend. He took us to some mango banana plantation along the Nile. This was something different from temples, monuments, and ruins that Luxor is known for. We could never had this experience if it wasn't for our taxi driver.
Oh.
Come on.
Super.
The next day, we decided to do things on our own without our taxi driver, as somehow because of him we could not finish exploring the West Bank as planned. Not that we are complaining, but we actually had great time with him.
على اللانشات يا حبيبي. ايه راجل مرمبك بعدلها من عنده.
We took a taxi to the West Bank, and the first step was the colossi of Memnon. The colossi of Memnon are two gigantic statues of Amenophes III. Rising majestically about 18 meters from the plain, the statues are the first monument tourists see when they visit the West Bank. Just 3 minutes drive from there you will reach Ramsesseum. The Ramsesseum, also known as the Mortuary Temple of Ramses II, it's a mighty monument that stands as testament to the power and grandeur of one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs. With its towering columns and intricate carvings, the Ramsesseum Temple is a true statement to the architectural genius of the ancient Egyptians. The next step is the Mortuary Temple of Queen Hatshepsut, 3 minutes drive from the Ramsesseum. The Mortuary Temple of Hatshepsut is one of the most remarkable ancient monuments in Egypt. The temple was built to honor Queen Hatshepsut, one of the most successful pharaohs in Egyptian history. Today, the temple is a popular tourist destination, and it's easy to see why. Its stunning architecture and beautiful setting make it an extraordinary place. The first thing I've noticed is its stunning architecture, the scale and the complexity of the temple. Even if you are not an expert of ancient Egyptian architecture, it is impossible not to appreciate the scale and artistry that went into building this incredible monument. The temple is located in a picturesque valley surrounded by mountains. The terraces of the Mortuary Temple of Hatshepsut are truly remarkable monuments that have stood for thousands of years, providing visitors with an insight into ancient Egyptian culture and history. We have finished our West Bank exploration. We decided to take the boat to go back to the East Bank. The crossing took about 10 minutes. Crossing the Nile is a great experience, with great views over Luxor, especially the East Bank. We could see hotels and some of the monuments. We reached our hotel in the afternoon.
Mama. Okay. Thank you so much.
We decided to go and take some pictures at the Luxor sign. It was just a 10-minute walk from where we were staying. We decided to walk. However, we have been approached by a taxi driver offering to take us there. We declined the offer, but he insisted. told us we'll get harassed anyway if we went on foot. Even offered to take us there for free. And he said that he knew our driver and tour guide. So we just gave up. We took some picture there and he thought that he'll take us back to the hotel. He just started driving us around Luxor, showing us some other places.
English church. This one.
Is it English?
Yes, English church. A Catholic church. Sorry, Catholic church. Yeah. Why it was here one before? I know, but rich people take them kids to the American one. Like me, I am take my children to the Egyptian government school for free.
It was okay, I can say. He drove us back to the hotel and he asked us to pay him. He told us that he was free. I just gave him half of what he was asking for. Yeah, just because we enjoyed the ride and we discovered some other things. I think he was okay with it. We are at the end of our wonderful stay in Luxor. Our taxi driver, tour guide and friend came to pick us up to the airport. We haven't been with him the day before, as we have decided to be on our own. But somehow he knew everything we've done without him. Is there a taxi driver mafia going on? So now we had to pay him for all the services. We have never agreed an amount. He left it up to us to decide, as we were, according to him, family. Okay. What a sale technique. We gave him what we felt it was right for the service provided, based on what he offered and what other drivers were charging. He accepted our offer. We hope so. Luxor is a great city that introduces the ancient Egyptian civilization region and represents the main cultural tourism destination in Egypt. Luxor is called the hustle capital. The moment you step out of the hotel, you are continuously hustled by sellers of any kind of junk souvenirs, honking taxi drivers. The contact with locals may be traumatizing, but you have to go with an open mind, because if you want to have a great Luxor experience, you should be at some level in contact with locals.
عمري ما اقول كبرنا واحنا صغيرين مع الزباين. طبعا ما غلطناش مع زبون يا باشا. صح عندك حق. انا بتلاقيني بتقول لي يعني ايه ده، بقول له ده ايبس. صح. ده النظام الفلاح. يعني ايه بيمشي معانا ابن مروه. بس يعني
So what he is saying?
He is saying like this is
So be on guard and immerse yourself in ancient Egyptian culture and allow yourself to be transported to a world long gone. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe for more. Next time we are taking you to Łódź in Poland. Till then, keep traveling. See ya.